where do we start with that? Hi guys, welcome back to All Things Trentside. I hope you're all well. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. In regards to an intro, still a bit deflated, if I'm honest. Of course, you all know the news. Didn't really upload on the day of the game or in the last few days. I took a break from recording because I just thought, the emotions were still raw. They're still in there now, but we do need to talk about it. So yeah, as you all know, I don't know where you would have been if you didn't know, but Nottingham Forest didn't make the playoffs this year, and it can only be described as a catastrophic last day of the season, which with Forest's worst nightmare that condemned them to 7th place and another season in the Championship, missing out on the playoffs on goal difference. This is going to be my match review for the game. It's been a while. Hopefully, I don't even expect when I upload it people to listen to it, because why would you want to, with it being such a sour end to the season? But it's got to be done. I've uploaded. I didn't really want to upload, but I know I had to upload in the end and not go quiet. So yeah. So obviously, as you're all aware, we will set the scene and we'll talk like, this has not happened 3-4 days ago. It's pretty raw, but I think most of you can understand why I didn't come onto the channel straight away. I think the hurt and anger that we were feeling, all Forest fans, it would have just transpired into a massive rant about me, how the players have let us down, etc. And it would have just been not the best viewing. I think when those things are said in the heat of the moment, especially the Derby game, when I spoke about that, there was this, I was saying stuff, like about Joe Worrell being, rubbish, he's let us down. I was right in that respect, but, in the heat of the moment, you do say some stuff and then you have a chance to analyse the situation. So that's why I've uploaded a bit later. But yeah, the scene was set Wednesday night. Forest were going into their final game against Stoke, knowing that they could lose. They only needed the point for the playoffs, but they could lose and hope that a 5-goal swing Swansea didn't need to win, to overtake. I knew Cardiff were in the equation as well, but no disrespect to Hull, they were playing a Hull side that, needed to win 15-0. That wasn't going to happen. And Cardiff were in a bit of a good form, and we were kind of focusing on Swansea, really. I don't think anyone expected Cardiff to drop out. So yeah, the final day really went down to, Cardiff were in the equation, but as I say, I think all Forest fans are looking at the results at the Medeski rather than the Cardiff City Stadium. So Forest went into the home game against Stoke because they only needed a point, or not to be confidently beaten, and hope Swansea could, only score 1 or 2 at Reading to finish the season in the playoffs, a position that Forest had occupied since Boxing Day. So into the game, the team news come out, and no Bryce Sambro again. Jordan Smith started in goal. He did okay against Barnsley as well. So if it had been low, Sambro would have played against Barnsley and Jordan Smith would have been panic stations, but he didn't play too bad against Barnsley, so he played between the sticks. I did mention, though, I don't know why, if Samba was fit. I think Paul Taylor mentioned it in the Barnsley game. I mentioned it in the review of the game and the preview for the Barnsley Stoke game, sorry. If Samba was fit enough, if it had been a crunch match or a playoff game, why did you not play him? It was a crucial match. I don't think Samba would have been able to, stop any of the goals that Stoke scored, but it is just fact. If your best players are fit to play, then, as we've seen the case, I think I'll get onto that in a moment. But if they are carrying knots, but if they are able to play, then you're gonna have to do it. Your job's on the line, your neck's on the line, reputation. So yeah, there was no Samba. Matty Cash returned ahead of Carl Jenkinson at right back again, as he has done this season. Missed the last few games. I think it was a groin problem he had, but he started at right back. Usual suspects alongside him. Figueiredo, Figueiredo, Worrell and Ribeiro. And then your 3 midfielders of So, Watson and Yates. And Joe Lolly was back in the side, so was Sammy Amiobi after he was dropped against Barnsley, and Lewis Grabman up top. But again, Lolly was another one who we didn't know would be fit. Again, like I said, I'll get onto that in a moment. So yeah, we went into the game. Stoke, nothing to play for. They'd secured their status at the weekend after beating Brentford, but we know the form that they were in since their turn of the year, since Michael O'Neill's come in. They can upset the apple cart. They did at the weekend. Brentford had gone on 7-8 games winning streak. automatic promotion was in their hands after West Brom had lost on the Friday. But no, they beat Brentford and ultimately really cost Brentford a place in the Premier League rather than having to go through the playoffs. But yeah, Forest had some decent chances early on. Lewis Grabban had one. He really should have put his foot through it. The ball come to him in the box and he kind of side-footed it. It was cleared off the line by Danny Bath, whatever, however you ever say it. It's not like I can only say his name once, I'm going to have to mention him in a moment. But he cleared it off the line. Another chance was, I can't remember who had the shot originally. Adam Davis then got down and Ryan Yates couldn't poke it into the net. Davis saved again. It was an okay double save. So the encouraging signs for Forest, say they went out of a whimper against Barnsley. They were poor in that game, didn't create much, but the opening, 90 minutes of the game was going well. I think Cardiff had gone 1-0 up by that point, and the news that Forest fans were dreading, if you was listening or watching on iFollow with Colin Free commentary, he said that told us that Reading had gone 1-0 ahead of Rhian Brewster. I mean, take nothing away from Rhian Brewster. If you watch the game back, it was a quality strike. But yeah, Forest were in the playoffs as it stood. It doesn't matter, got the point they needed. They would have been dropping down to sixth spot, yeah. But then the moment that Forest fans were dreading after the Swansea goal, it got even worse. Stoke won a corner. I can't remember if it was a direct from the corner or the ball got played out. It was whipped back in and Danny Bart was there to head home. Unopposed, really. Joe Worrell, I don't think he can handle the physicality of Danny Bart. I think he's a lot stronger, a lot taller. And Forest is now staring down the possibility of Swansea go and get a few more. Nerves were jangling, especially didn't really create much after that. Adam Davis wasn't really tested. A few flash shots. I think Cash had one before it was 0-0, and we did lose Sambasso as well. He did go off. I think he had a bit of a problem. Thiago Silva come on, so we did have that creativity going forward. But yeah, went into half time. Going into half time, and news filtered through that Reading had a man sent off, Mate, the man who was given his marching orders, and that's when I think, for me as a Forest fan, I did start to panic because 10 men against a team who attack like Swansea do and have goals, who can get goals. It was going to end in tears, I think, for Forest at that point. But then there was a bit of hope. George Puskas. Oh my God, my pronunciation. I can't even say. My pronouncing of names has been awful. I do apologise. It's been a long few days, I think, trying to process all this. But George Puskas, however you say it, converted a penalty and it was 1-1. And suddenly, from a position where you thought Forest were going to be under real pressure, it turned round. We didn't need it. But yeah, it looked like Forest only now just needed to go in at half time, short up 1-0, try and get a goal, and then sit back on it. But it went in at half time, so as it stood, it was probably the same day's play apart from Forest were now in sixth after Cardiff. I think they were 1 or 2-0 up against Hull, so they were top. They were fifth. Sorry, Forest was sixth, Swansea were seventh. So yeah, big 45 minutes coming up. Forest didn't play it look too bad though. I think apart from the goal. Really Achilles heel for Forest in recent years, but it was a good delivery, good header. But Forest had kept it in touching distance, and that was that. But yeah, things improved in the second half though. Forest needed a goal. I think Reading did go 2-1 ahead. I can't remember who scored. I think it was Matt Grimes. It was someone, I can't remember who. But Swansea went 2-1 ahead, so the pressure was back on Forest. And Swansea, I think, only needed after that 3 goals to or a Forest capitulation. But Forest then got the goal that they needed, the goal they were craving. It looked like we could kick on from this. It was a corner from Lolly, it's a great corner. Can't remember who flicked it on, and Figueiredo just got a slight touch on it, and it went in. It was 1-1, and that was Forest place in the playoffs secured. But then after that, I think that was the only shining light on that moment. I think since that, it just went downhill from there. So Stoke went back ahead 10 minutes later, and the news had filtered through that Reading had scored again. Wayne Routledge, I think it was this time, or did Routledge get the third? But anyway, Swansea had gone 3-1 up. They were closing in on Forest, and this is when Forest fans were starting to panic, especially when ball was across and James McLean tapped in to an empty net at the back post, unopposed. Everyone thought it was offside. Forest looked for the flag, it never came, and it was 2-1. And the impossible was unfolding in front of our very eyes. I mean, I know Forest could have lost that game, but it was like 2-1. Swansea were coasting now against 10 men, 3-1 up. It was always going to, get difficult. And it got worse 6 minutes later again. I think Stoke broke. Ball breaks to James McLean. He slams it across the box, and Lee Gregory sliding in. It was 3-1, and suddenly it was a goal for Swansea at the Medeski. Forest were out of the playoffs. Forest were pushing now, getting men on. I think Da Costa come on. I'm sure Michael Dawson come on. I can't remember though. I know someone was playing as a makeshift striker. It might have been Worrell, and Dawson stayed on the bench. But we're going into injury time. Forest just can't really create nothing. Can't really fathom a chance. I think again Adam Davies had too much to do. But it didn't look like Forest was scoring. They only needed one goal, and that was their place in the playoffs secured. Even a 3-2 defeat, it wouldn't have been the greatest form to go into the playoffs with. But we just needed the goal. And then really the news that no one wanted, and that was that Swansea got a fourth in added time. Wayne Routledge was a header as well. I don't know why. I'm sure Wayne Routledge is about 5'7", 5'8", and he headed it into the back of the net, and Swansea were in the playoffs. Forest needed a goal from somewhere, otherwise that would have been it. I think it was the 5-goal swing had been achieved. Unthinkable at the start, especially at half time as well. But Forest needed the goal. They pulled men forward. It finished at the Medeski. I mean, I don't really care. I think a lot of Forest fans, I'd already turned off by this point. I didn't think we were going to get a goal. But 94th minute, and then just watching the rest of the scores coming on Soccer Saturday, and you just see switches to Chris Kamara, who's watching the game. They break Stoke on the counter, clean through. Da Costa's running back, and I think it was McLean again squared it. Someone from Stoke was going to tap it in, but Da Costa unfortunately put it into his own net, and that was that. Forest playoff hopes were, I don't even know the right word. Trying to think of what to say and do an intro in this video was hard enough. What do you say? But you don't even know what to say about Forest playoff hopes went. There's so many words you probably could use, but you don't. People don't want to hear that. It's a family friendly channel, this, but yeah, we just. I don't even know what to say. We just, capitulation's not the right word, but Swansea were celebrating and Forest were down on the ground. Feet was gave everything this season in the last 6 games, from being in a terrific point of the season where it looks like we was gonna challenge for the top 2 even, and it all gone in the space of. From Boxing Day to the 91st minute was in the playoffs, and we fell out right at the very last. But I think it was the manner in Forest, how Forest did it. It was unthinkable. I mean, a lot of Forest fans were thinking it. I mentioned it in the preview for the game. Sky Bet had at odds of 25-1 of Forest finishing outside the top 6, and seen a lot of people reply to a few things on Twitter saying, "Oh, I put the money on," because it was one of them. Either won loads of money, or Forest got into the playoffs. No one's expecting it, so I think that's why the odds were so high. Sky Bet thinking, well, people are going to put money on that, but obviously they probably will make money, but not off that. So yeah, at the end of the game, I think Ben Watson was flabbergasted, Joe Lolly in tears, virtually, Matty Cash as well. But I just think it's crazy that we expected that from Forest. You just knew it was coming. I think in the gut of your stomach, deep down you thought this could happen. With any other team you wouldn't think it, but it's Forest. The amount of playoff heartache we've suffered in the past, or Yeovil, Brentford, Yeovil, Blackpool, Swansea, the relegation battle. It was unthinkable. Hannah Forest, the laughing stock of the Forest timeline, if some people would say. She put a prediction I don't think there's going to be a 5-goal swing, and that ended up on going viral on social media. It just was a toxic place, the timeline after this. People saying Lamucci out. And I do a video in more detail, reviewing the season once I've I'll go into that in more detail, so I'm not going to say my views. Unless there is a decision from the board. I know he did have a meeting with Marianakis, so I don't know what's going to happen with that at the moment, if he's going to stay, if he's kept his job. He has to sign that new contract, and do Forest want that revolving door of managers to happen again? But no one saw this coming when Lamucci signed his new deal. Thought even a win, I think it was the Derby game. If we'd have won that, people say now, Derby saying, "Oh, we ended your season," etc. But even the Preston game, if we'd have found another goal at Preston, the Barnsley game, if we'd have not conceded that 93rd minute equaliser in the playoffs, it would have been us playing today, not Swansea against Brentford. And as I can't really say the term S-housing, but normally it would be us doing that and replying to all the Brentford fans, rattling them up. But no, it's not. It's Swansea who took the place, and Forest will be playing instead of Dreaming the Lights. I saw someone tweet, instead of Dreaming the Lights, are going to Anfield, and the Etihad were going to Adams Park and the New York Stadium. No disrespect to them, sometimes they are a good day out. But you want to be in the Premier League, especially when you see the stature of Leeds, how big Leeds are as a club, and they're back in the Premier League now. And Forest probably at best chance in years. I think Brentford were a bit of like automatic promotion. They threw it away. Were they going to be hung over from that? Cardiff are good, yes. They've been on a good run this season, but I thought we might have been able to hold our own in the playoffs. I was, I'd say, quietly confident. Maybe that's why probably we didn't deserve to get into the playoffs. People thinking that, but it was just crazy. The capitulation for Forest, just to watch it unfold in front of our very eyes. Especially in that manner. I've said to a lot of people, if Forest were playing and they'd have lost, Swansea had a match as result for result, and this was a one-off, then fair enough, take your hats off to Swansea. But the only reason Swansea are in the playoffs is because Forest form leading up to it, say not winning 6 games now, but before the Stoke game, not winning 5. There's just a lot of things that cost us. I think I mentioned earlier, playing with injuries. I think Joe Lolly was still injured, but you do need to play with your best players. Amiobi was carrying a bit of a knock. Probably Cash, I don't think, was 100%. So it's cost Forest in the end, but hey ho, that's the roller coaster of loving the sport we love and loving Forest. We all see it now and say we're all used to it, but will we all be going back in our droves next season when we can go back? Again, I'll cover that in another video. But we will be doing that. We'll be supporting Forest. If Lamucci is sat, people might be a bit upset, but then we'll get a new manager in and we'll back him and the signings he brings in. It's what happens in football, but it still stings at the minute. I didn't really think about it a lot until I watched the playoffs, and it got to about 6:10 after all the Premiership games are finished, and you just sat there thinking we should be kicking off now. It's not even like, I say, it's just a one-off. Swansea have gone and tore Reading to pieces, and we've lost 1-0, but Reading have conceded 7 against Swansea. Then you could be like, okay, fair enough. We couldn't do anything about that. Well, we could have drew, but you know what I mean. Though, like, would have been like, they just was on fire that day. But no, I mean, fair play to Swansea. They did go and score 4, but the fact is, against 10 men for half the game as well. But to capitulate like Forest did, the second and third goal for Stoke was awful. Back post, both of the players, no one picking them up. Can't blame the first goal. I think Danny Bart's been in great form this season. Towards the back end of the season, I think in commentary he scored 3 or 4 goals in his past 7-8 games, something like that. But he scored quite a few. Da Costa's just tried to get back and couldn't do anything about it. But we couldn't get that goal, and it's another we had a laughing stock for a bit for the Championship. Now see on Twitter now all the time the Forest kick off today and etc. But it's part and parcel of the game. If Derby fans taking the mick out of us, will we take the mick out of Derby fans next season, or when they lost the playoff final? Yes, I mean to get to the playoffs, but we'd take the mick out of anyone if you expect it back. So yeah, it's still raw. I still like sitting here now thinking, how did that happen? But you got to move on. You got to accept that you're playing Championship football again next season and dust yourself off and go again. If Forest can, I think I mentioned it a few videos back. Someone tweeted, Leeds are a good example to follow. They kept their spine of the team together, and then added a few marquee signings and a few shrewd loan signings, and look where they are now. Stuck with their manager as well. I mean, you'd stick with Bielsa. I know he's a top draw manager, but they could have easily said, well, in the position where you was going to win the league and now you've fell out bottled the playoffs, we need you to leave. Is it Steve Evans as well? There's a video said there's a few managers in the Championship who know the league that could do a better job. Lamucci was an unknown quantity as well. I think he knows the league now, and do I believe he'd make the same mistakes? I don't think so. I think we need to be tougher next season as well. Like I say, I'll go on to that in a minute. I'm probably going to be an extended video next time. Going to do a match season review of the whole season. I'll go into detail in that. So yeah, guys, that was just to say, just to talk to you all, just to let you know that I've not just gone silent. I know I needed to make this video at some point, and the longer I left it, the more it was just going to bring up bad memories. You can get rid of the memories now after you've listened to this. I'm going to be taking a break for a few weeks, just because I've got to sit down to the drawing board. I've got a few ideas for the channel to take it to the next level. So keep your eyes out on social media. If you follow us in the description below, if you don't already, you'll be able to see what's going on. Like I say, I've got a few ideas going forward, and hopefully that might be exciting for me to take the channel to the next level, and people might enjoy the changes. But of course, as well, how I'm going to do previews and reviews in the future. So yeah, I just want to take to the drawing board now. I'm going to do a big season review and go from there really, and try and pinpoint where Forest went wrong this season, what went right, and where we turn next season. So yeah, we'll be taking a break for a week or so. It's not going to be a massive break, but say if you want to keep involved and keep interactive, look on social media, follow us, and you can see all the latest goings on in the club, on the channel, should I say. If anything does develop with Lamucci, we'll come on and do obviously something like that if there is breaking news in regards to all that aspect. But all being well at the moment, nothing's changed in that scenario. So like I say, it will just be a match season review when we start up again in probably a few weeks' time. But like I say, guys, keep a look on social media for that. But enjoy your time at the moment. Try not to get too down when watching the playoffs, and hopefully Forest will resurrect that next season. But we'll come on to that when the season starts up again. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. I know it's a hard listen. I know it is a bit late, but I think everyone can understand the reasons for it. Like normally, it would have been up, but no, there was no playoff game. I can chance to collect my thoughts and go from there. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you're all staying safe and doing well, especially after that. I know it's difficult, but hopefully I'll speak to you all soon. Well, I don't want to say hopefully, but hopefully you are enjoying the videos, apart from this one. Like I said, I can't imagine too many people listening to this with fondness. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. I'll speak to you all soon. Keep an eye on social media. Give us a follow, like, and subscribe. Take it easy, guys. I'll speak to you in a little while.